So, I mean, I have to ask you, Pete, are we finally seeing, kind of the coming to bear of the Packers ignoring Rodgers, wanting people to throw to and everything like that? Or is this just something different with the Packers? Is everybody just struggling?
I think everybody's struggling, but he's struggling. The passing game's struggling. They're not running the ball, and everybody's struggling. The defense isn't great either. You know what this is with Rodgers, with Brady? Analysts who work at CBS Sports HQ get better with age. Quarterbacks, they might be catching up to him a little bit.
Jamie's just shaking his head. No. So I mean, how do you
well done to work yourself.
Yeah, well, hold on, Pete. Hold on. How do you go and classify what you're seeing with Rodgers and this Packers offense from a fantasy perspective at this point?
Hands off. Outside of Aaron Jones at this point, hands off. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, you can't play him. Just especially if Allen Lazard is hurt and going into Buffalo next week, there's no way you're starting him. I mean, he couldn't take advantage of this Washington defense. Yes, he got lucky with the 2 touchdowns, Aaron Jones getting the second one, but he is yelling at his wide receivers. Romeo Doubs is dropping the ball left and right. Amari Rodgers had a bad drop in this game. He doesn't have reliable guys. And so you're hearing the storyline, and I don't know, Pete, if you expect the trade to happen, but Elijah Moore to the Packers, Chase Claypool to the Packers, maybe DJ Moore if they're able to get him free to the Packers.
Beckham.
They need something. Beckham's not going there. They need something to change what this season has been right now because Christian Watson can't get on the field. You can't expect Sammy Watkins to come in and save them. He didn't do that today. Lazard has been a good receiver, but he's not a difference maker. Robert Tonyan's not a difference maker. Romeo Doubs not proving to be a difference maker. So he can't do everything by himself. We know he's been great. 2-time MVP, Hall of Famer, one of the best ever. But right now he has nothing around him, and he looks lost a little bit right now.
What would their record be if Devontae Adams was there?
4-3, 5-2 at best.
Yeah, it's not any much different. This team isn't that good right now. And when they have 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, it's okay to smash a 240-pound running back into the line of scrimmage. A.J. Dillon. I mean, you talked to him this week. That they had the game in London. They smash him in, they get a first down, and maybe they win that game. Then you have this one, smash him in and get the first down, and maybe you win this one. I think sometimes the play calling has gotten away from him. And again, I go back to him not being comfortable with motion and movement and everything else, and the young receivers probably aren't comfortable either, and he doesn't trust them. It's a different offense than what they've been running the last couple of years.
We talked about Brian Robinson last week. We saw him kind of, come to bear for Washington. This week it's Antonio Gibson. So when you're looking at the Washington side of things and this offense, obviously nice to see Terry McLaurin getting back onto the score sheet. But in terms of this running game, I mean, are you spot starting for bye weeks at this point? Like, is there a reliable one in there that you would take?
Brian Robinson was a guy I had ranked as a starter, but a lot of that had to do with the 4 teams on a bye and some of the injuries. And so he was a back-end, number 2 running back and more better play in non-PPR than PPR. The nice thing, I think, is more for Antonio Gibson, that in the secondary role can still be productive, so still getting the touchdown in the passing game, 10 carries for 59 yards. The thing about this Washington team, and Pete, you've talked about this a lot, especially with the people that you know there, they want Brian Robinson to be the guy. So 17 carries last week, 20 carries this week. When you get those type of numbers, that tells you that they're winning games because they don't get the opportunity to run the ball like this. And we said that the Packers' run defense was bad. We thought one guy would maybe take advantage of Brian Robinson. 38 carries, 166 yards. This team cannot stop the run. This is the formula for Washington to get back into the win column, and they do so with to getting 3 and 4.
Every single time at this time of the year, it's ice fishing starts. You get cold as hell. The cheese curds start tasting better because it's cold outside. And the Packers can't stop the damn run. It doesn't matter who they bring in. They change coordinators. They draft defensive linemen. They draft linebackers. They sign their Devontae Campbell to a high-priced free agent contract. They can't stop the run. It's mystifying.
I'll tell you what, though. Let's give them a little credit. They're not going to have to stop the run next week. It's going to be Josh Allen.
That's right.
Yeah, true.
Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, I don't know. Knox.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary.
I know there are certain people we know that like to see the Bills run the ball early and take themselves out of games.
That is true. That is true.
We
Some
know that
people
guy.
like to see not see Josh Allen throw the ball over the place.
Lots of storylines to discuss over the course of the next week with, of course, some of these teams. Aaron Rodgers, certainly Tom Brady, and what's going on in Tampa Bay. And those are all topics that will be up for discussion on Inside the NFL. New episodes streaming every single Tuesday. You can take a look at that exclusively on Paramount+.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.